Against the backdrop of a raging COVID epidemic and a quite visceral Black Lives Matter movement, Abroad While Black was born. Our goal was to highlight Black perspectives from all over the world. It was our way of proving there are other ways to live, other places to be successful, and different cultures that embrace our Blackness. In 2020, the Abroad While Black team created dozens of responsive hot takes and thoughtful interviews covering topics ranging from current events, business opportunities, dating, and life-changing moments. In 2021, our co-hosts Cordy and Sean aim to share more success stories, more productive introspection, and most importantly, how to relocate to a place that truly values what you offer the world. Abroad While Black is more than a show. This is a social experiment hell-bent on discovering new ways to secure the bag and live our best lives. Join the Abroad While Black squad. Important it is that you, not somebody around you, not your accountant, all these other people, they can know, but you and this part need to go and break down and understand how you evaluate your company. So that way you make sure that you're in a better position to negotiate. Because let's just break it down and be straightforward here. And getting investment is primarily a negotiation. It is the friendliest battle and war you will find yourself in. Hello, Abroad While Black squad. It's your host, Sean Burrows. I am the co-founder of Ingressive for Good. I'm also the CEO of Burrows Enterprises. I am passionate about building an economic bridge between Africa and her diaspora, and I focus on tech, investment, and operations. Today, I'm really happy. I have one of my lifelong friends here today. We have Miss Deshauna Jeffries. Amongst just traveling the world and doing all this amazing and dope stuff, she also focuses on relationship management, counseling, and coaching and different things like that. So we're going to hear a little bit about her story today because somebody decided to come to the dark, mysterious continent for the first time. Awesome. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I am Deshauna Jeffries. I'm the owner of Signature Class Travel and also a Passport to Breathe. As Sean mentioned, I love traveling. Started traveling when I was young. So why not make it into, what I do?
Okay. So tell us a little bit about that one, because that's the thing that's had me just so jealous of all of your social media platforms. I've seen you've been to a few places. How many places have you been to? What are some of the places you've traveled?
I think it's been about 30 or so places. So
30.
Ghana a couple of weeks ago. That was my first time on the continent of Africa. I've done Thailand, China, Curacao.
Yeah, I saw those pictures
France,
from the islands. I thought you was tearing the islands up. Okay.
Yeah, France, Spain, Italy. Yeah, I've just covered it all.
Okay.
I still have more to go though. I have more to go.
Awesome. Which one was your favorite place in all of those all of the places you touched down?
I would have to say Palma de Mallorca, Spain. Yeah.
I had a terrible experience in Spain. I was not in Mallorca. That's okay. More of the party spot. I was in Madrid. But what did you love about it? What was going on there?
It's just this small little town. They have horse and carriage. They have buses and stuff, but it's one long street that you could go shopping. They have all the boats that you could just, go out on your boat if you want. And it was a different kind of beautiful there. It wasn't a whole lot of people. It's more of so think of going to a spot in Florida that's more of a retirement spot, so everybody's kind of just chilling and, having lunch and things like that. It's just a calm atmosphere. That's what I loved about Palma.
Interesting. Because I remember back in the day, We was not calm. But okay, because interesting, because like I don't want to get into too much of the stuff we'll probably touch on a little bit later, but I had that feeling with Ghana, and that's part of why I left. It was actually too laid back. But anyway, we'll get into
Okay.
that one later. So typically, before we get into too much into everything that's going on as far as like the personal side, I like to touch on current events. And I'm not going to lie, of course, everybody that's watching, you know, I live in Lagos, Nigeria. I left America 2014, about 6 years ago, didn't even look over my shoulder. And now there's a situation where I look at America, like, especially politics, it's like reality television. Um, it's literally like reality television. It's like entertaining. Like, man, that's gonna mess y'all up, man. But yeah. So we have a very interesting time here. So we have a new vice president. A new president. We have the illustrious Vice President Kamala Harris in there. I haven't heard much from her, but in times like these, that might be a good thing. And then we have the former chief of thieves, or whatever we want to call it. I call him White Tupac. The reason why I call President White Tupac, because like I understand that he feeds directly to his base, in the way that if Tupac was a presidential candidate for me, I just understand that Trump is not for me. But for his people, I don't see anybody being a better representative, a better supporter, having your back. And he even took it gangster. He was like, let's take this White House, bro. Like, from a distance, I respect him. I respect Donald Trump. Just being real.
But then he denies everything after. You know, he's that leader, but then denies it and throws you under the bus. So
right, because you build layer upon layer upon layer of conspiracy theories to the point where everything is a lie. Everything is there's this secret thing that not everybody knows about, but my crowd, my community, or whatever. To me, it speaks. Of course, it reeks of fascism. It sounds like old Nazi Germany. We're somehow special. We're somehow the chosen ones, and everybody else just got it wrong.
Right.
It reeks of that to me. But like, what is the perspective of Trump from your perspective? He's being sued by 2 or 3 different states. I know Manhattan's trying to get off in his wallet for taxes. They're trying to sue him in Georgia based on his claims for election fraud. What's it look like from your side?
It's funny because I was just talking about this today. And it's just, well, I was talking about watching TV and, well, watching the news and how I didn't like watching the news, but it seemed like lately I was watching the news. And it was because you just never knew what was going to happen day to day. You know, right. He would tweet something at 3 o'clock in the morning and we could be in war the next day. So it was just, you know, kind of stressful. Not knowing what you would wake up to. So since the inauguration, you know, it's almost like we can breathe and not have to worry about like, okay, what's going to happen next? We actually have a breather moment right now. So
that's my problem. That's the thing I hate most. I'm not gonna lie, I secretly wanted Trump to get reelected. I did.
For what?
So, you know, we live down south. So Virginia is not the deep south, but it's still the south. And if you start going into those back corners, you'll see some things, right? And I prefer to have my racism served to me in my face. That's my type of racism. I don't like the racism where, because like, it's I guess it's 2 wings of the same bird, so to speak.
It's not going anywhere.
Right.
I honestly don't think it's going anywhere. Just because he gave them a voice. So-called gave them a voice. So I don't think it's going anywhere. I think they're still going to be vigilantes. will rules change, laws change to go against them? Yes, but I don't think it's going to change anything. I think they're going to be just out. I mean, they came out with Obama,
Yeah,
they
the Tea
didn't
Party.
want a black president. Right. So, they're going to come out even more with Kamala because she's a woman and of different race. So I don't feel like, they're going to go back in their little hiding spot.
Oh, no. Here's the thing to me where I think before Trump, the Republican Party operated with dog whistles. So of course I watched CNN. MSNBC was a little bit too far to the left sometimes. But I watched it, but I also watched Fox. And then I love the Young Turks. That's also something I watch. Democracy Now! That's also far left, but also something I watch to consume my news. But I just got to Trump owns that party. And when I say they operated with like dog whistles, the only difference with Trump and without Trump inside of the Republican Party is that Trump was just loud. Trump was that loud friend where you walk in the party and he's like, hey, you said you like that girl, there she goes. And it's just like, bro, let me work my way over there. You can't just, like, that's how Trump is. It's like, because like, I don't necessarily see the difference in what they're trying to do. They're doing the same thing. They've always tried to gerrymander districts. They've always tried to reduce voter counts. They've been doing this thing forever. And Trump was just the one was like, yeah, I sabotaged the U.S. Postal Service. Yes, I did it. Wait, am I supposed to lie about that? No, I didn't do it, but I did it. Sure. So like, I don't necessarily see the difference. Sure. So now to take this back kind of where it started, I like my racism just straight up. Like, I don't want juice and rocks. I don't want to get a hangover. Just give me, I'm here for the effects, right? So like, the whole thing is like, it's there. Yes, we've already said it. It's not going to be different, whether you have Trump or you don't have Trump. But with Trump in office, I saw Black people more united. Black people knew where we stood and we felt like we were under attack. And like, it's almost like when you're a procrastinating person, where you're like, oh my God, like if you have this big report or something to, oh my God, please, I just wish I had another day to do this. I would work so hard to get it done. And then the teacher's like, you know what? I'm gonna give you an extra 2 or 3 days. And you're like, yes. I'm gonna go watch a movie. It's Netflix and binge. I'm gonna binge on Netflix. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's just like you had your time. They gave us a little bit more time to get our act together, to work within an administration that would be more amenable to the causes and some of the things that we want to change and stuff like that. But I feel like, again, the majority of us are just gonna go back into relaxation mode and actually breathe. And it's like, no, we can't breathe, literally. So that's what I was afraid of. That's what I'm nervous about. And it's, I follow Sean King very closely. I'll have another video. I already recorded it. But if you look at what Sean King is covering, some of the things going on there, like he's still fighting some of the same battles. Like they're still just now talking about newly released videos from the Ahmad, I forgot the last name. I feel so bad. But they literally hunted this man down, and they had the video, and they were having fun about it. And it's just like they didn't share this within the court case. It's just ridiculous. Like, we're at war, and it's just like, just because the administration changes doesn't mean anything changes with us. And by far and large, historically, Black people have had the most contentious relationship with the executive branch of government. That's the one that's been kicking our butts. And it's because they execute the laws. So now the legislature can say whatever they want. Hey, don't do this, or you can do this. The judicial branch can say, hey, we interpret this law this way. This is how you should do it. But the executive branch is like, nah, they're going to jail and we're going to shoot them. We're going to kick their door down, shoot them in their house, and then arrest the person that we were shooting at. Like, it doesn't matter what else happens if that's the way they want to do business. I don't want us to relax. I really don't want us to relax.
Yeah.
So that's my tirade.
Yeah. Agree.
So on your side, what are some of the things grabbing the headlines on your side? I stopped watching social media after Lori Harvey took down my hero, Killmonger. I was just like, she bad. She bad, but like, bro, you should be dating Oprah right now. Like, just go for Oprah. Like, go shoot for the stars, bro.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, I mean, that's old news, but I mean, unless you got some new news, you can tell me how you feel. Tell us how you feel.
Look, I didn't know anything about it. When I tell you, like,
you were hurt too.
I am in my world. I am in my world.
Okay.
People was like, "Oh, Lori Hart, what? What does that even mean? I don't know."
Now, I'll say my girl is a huge follower of Lori Harvey because fashionably, Lori Harvey is creme de la creme. I like her style. I like the way her style looks on my girl. But that's how I was kind of like keeping in touch with her. Like how that was my connection. And then, you know, Steve Harvey, I mean, he had one of the greatest, my favorite joke of all time. It was probably inappropriate, but should I just tell you the joke?
Sure.
So I'll tell you the joke because you were ahead of me and Darrell, right? But we were in church. And Steve Harvey's joke was like, he was just talking about his life being in church. And he was like, we were in church so many days a week. It was Monday Jubilee service, Tuesday prayer service, Wednesday choir practice, Sunday, you know, Saturday, I used to practice for the instruments. You know, you have this little thing. And then on Sunday, you have 2 services a day. And then Steve Harvey looked at the camera. He was like, you know what? I'd rather go to hell. And I was just like, I'm not gonna go that far because I was in the church that day, but it was just like he touched on my life. Like he touched on my life. Like, is it necessary? Never mind. That's a whole different discussion. Anyway, Lori Harvey, Steve Harvey's daughter, her mama, I ain't gonna say her mama was for the streets, but her mama was about that life. Let's say that. Her mama was about
I love Marjorie's style. Okay. Like every time I see a picture of her, I'm like, oh, that's a bad woman.
Okay. I'll give you that one.
Love, you know. As a Black woman, if I see, you know, like older Black women just still putting it down, I'm like, yes. You know, Angela Bassett, you know, all of them. Gabrielle, all of them, you know. I'm 43, so older than me and you still bad as, I'm gonna give you your props.
I had that same relationship with one of my physical hero probably is like Michael Jai White. I don't know if you know him. The guy who played Spawn. This Negro like 60 and is beating up MMA stars today. And I was just like, bro, you're at God level. Like you're just like I say what I want, I do what they want, and if they challenge me, I will destroy them. I think he can catch a bullet with his teeth. I think he can. But anyway, but before we get too far into that one, but yeah, am I missing anything in the US? Is something happening? I know like Bobby Shmurda got out of jail. The memes are glorious. No Bobby Shmurda?
I do, but you know, it's
okay. You in your own world. Okay. Well, give me this one. What are some of the things that are dominating your headlines? What are some of the things that are popping up on your side?
So for me, I would say because of travel, right after the inauguration, you know, now if you travel internationally, you must get a COVID test before coming back. So that kind of changed up the travel market again. A lot of resorts, hotels, they had to quickly get together and start offering COVID tests to people that were staying there because you can't come back in the US, you know, so that was like the major thing that kind of shifted again the travel industry. Yeah.
The unmitigated gall of the United States. That ground zero. It's like, no.
Look,
don't
they need to do it domestically too. Honestly, they really do need to. They need to do it domestic. Yeah.
I didn't want to say it. So like, how do you see that impacting like the travel industry? So like now everybody has to do COVID tests. I was supposed to catch up with you in Ghana and I took the wrong test. So I took a rapid test instead of the whatever test. And I'm like,
PCR.
Even when they stabbed me in the brain, like, can you just like accept what happened to me? I'm a victim here. But nah, they was like, nah, fam. You got to take that again and you got to pay us. Yeah.
I make sure, my clients know. I actually think it helps with the industry because a lot of my clients were scared about not necessarily once they get to a place, but the airplane.
So yes. An
right.
incubator for all things diseases. Yes.
So if you're on an international flight and you have to get tested before you leave to even get on that flight, and then you get there and before you come back, you have to get tested. I think it's easing a lot of people's minds to know, okay, everybody on this plane does not have COVID at this present time, So I think it's kind of opening back up. Like this week, I've booked like 3 people already this week, so I see the trend of it ramping back up. So I think it was actually a great thing.
Okay. I was starting to think that we should just quarantine older people or people with compromised immune systems and let everything else be survival of the fittest. No? Okay. I just gonna throw that out there. Okay. If he dies, he dies.
You want a whole Walking Dead type of
I feel like that's what the vaccines is going to cause. I do not trust these vaccines. We were just looking at, for some African news, I was going to say The Who, that's a band. The World Health Organization has just shipped some huge number of vaccines to Ghana. And on one side, there was the fact that Ghana has done an amazing job at kind of organizing their systems, tracking, tracing, having the infrastructure to actually be able to deliver these vaccines. And then you have, for me, the other side, which is Guatemala and Tuskegee, which I'm like, nah, fam, like, I don't trust you. Like, give it to you. I don't know who you need to give this to before, but from what I'm seeing now is that the vaccine technically is being accepted as this emergency thing that they're giving with the understanding that it's experimental. And if you take it and something happens to you, then there's going to be no way you can seek damages or anything like that. Is that the same idea that you're getting?
So
I don't want to spread misinformation.
That's pretty much with everything now.
Wait, tell me more. I don't understand. I thought we had the FDA, and why do we pay so much taxes in America? Wait, what's going on?
I mean, because if you think about it, okay, I was one that I had a lot of surgeries during my life. So, you go into the surgery, they go over what could happen. And then you sign this paper that you're not responsible. They're not responsible if something happens to you. So I just feel like that's a thing.
Where I separate it is, so it might not feel this way when you're going through certain things. So I don't want to come across as insensitive. But the difference I see is one thing that if you ask me and I agree, it's another thing if you force me to take something and then an arm starts growing out of my forehead and you're like, I don't know what to tell you, bro. I don't agree with that.
So, I mean, right now, the only people they are quote unquote forcing, and I don't know if it's full on forcing, is, hospital workers and teachers.
And I would also add in the military. I can almost, because they don't even have a choice. Maybe they haven't yet, but so my mom had to my mom retired early, back in the days of anthrax, right? So when they were deploying people, they were saying, all right, if you're going to deploy, you have to take this whatever cocktail shot to help you just in case you get anthrax. And reports were coming out later that all types of crazy stuff were happening to people that took those shots. My mom was I'd rather see it on TV than see it in person. So she decided to just basically retire out of the military at that point and not take that shot. And she was very smart for doing so. But at any point where they decide that the military should take it, they don't have a choice. They have signed over their.
Correct. Yes, that is correct.
We'll see what happens. We'll see.
Yeah.
I know that we'll have you in the network. So if we have questions on travel and different things like that, I'm just going to call you. Maybe I should have called you before I tried to go. So the thing that I want to get into, and the thing that I must pick your brain about and dive into deeply, is that you just visited the African continent for the first time. I believe you represent a large swath of the American populace from your previous experience, but not in what you decided to do at the end, which is actually come here and visit. So I know a lot of Black Americans. I even stopped saying African Americans. We need to work a little bit harder. Yeah. I can call you. I'll say you are going further towards saying I am an African American. You actually know a little bit of something. You visit, you touch the ground, you smell the air, right? But typically with Black Americans, we don't have a relationship with the continent, and we've also been brainwashed a bit with the propaganda that forces us to believe that there's nothing good there for us. So we don't research, we don't do all these different things there. But you decided to take the leap. So I have a series of questions for you. Okay. And I guess I'll start back. It may be kind of obvious, but like, what made you first want to take a trip to Ghana? What interested you in going to the African continent, and what made you choose Ghana?
Part of that was you. So, over those 6 years, we had talked a few times, and you were telling me how great it is. So it was just a time thing. My partner and I just decided, okay, it's time. She went to South Africa last year. And so we, I was like, hey, why not Ghana? Sean says it's wonderful. Beaches, so it's kind of stuff for everyone to do. When we do our group trips, that's how we kind of think about it. So that's why we picked there. It's funny because telling people that we were going there, the reaction was the same. Why Ghana? And I'm like, yeah, why not Ghana? And then
you asked the question. There is an answer.
Why not Ghana? It was just what do you expect to see there? And I think that's where the breakdown was, that people are like, oh, you're going to see what you see on some movies of dirt, and there's nothing out there. And I'm like, no, that's that's not how it is. Yeah. I knew that's not how it was even before I got there.
Well, I would say also to them, like, please don't forget that like Montana, the Dakotas, and Mississippi exist. Like, there are patches of dirt in the U.S. too, but another discussion.
Right.
But okay. So again, I always say if you're coming to West Africa, probably the three biggest places, I don't know if forgive my geography, but it's Senegal. I don't know if Senegal is west or not, but Senegal, Ghana, and Nigeria. are three of the names that really pop up most often. I would say Ghana would probably be the best entry point for a Black American. They would be able to put up with your stuff, basically be able to speak the same language, different things like that. I could see certain Americans coming to Lagos, Nigeria. They just might get one. Yeah. No. People are not violent. But let's say this, like, I really want to do a comparison with you. So I'm really interested to see what you thought you were going to come here and experience versus what you actually came here and experienced. So I guess the first part was like, what did you think it was going to be like?
There really wasn't a surprise of when I got here, because I researched places and everything, so I knew city. What did and didn't surprise me, I should say, is the class levels. So it was like low and high. Yes. Not so much middle, unless I just wasn't introduced to the middle. But
where do you think you would have fell in?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd have been high.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think typically we think we're high, but we're not. Because the ceiling on their side of wealth is far higher than we anticipate, and then the way they exhibit their wealth is different. I believe I told you the story about I had somebody in my restaurant. We were drinking beers. I'm not gonna say he looked dusty, but he just looked normal, like super extra normal. And then we happened to say we're gonna go out one night. And I'm like, all right, cool. And he was like, all right, I'll drive. Just hop in the car once you're ready to go. And then I just have to stop by my house so we can change. And then I go into his house and I see Rolls Royces. I see like stuffed lions and zebras, marble floors. The living room was probably the size of the apartment that I think is huge could fit in his living room. And it's just like, then it was just like, hello, sir. I didn't know, sir. Forgive my insolence. But yeah, there's money. There's real money. There's different levels of money. It's not like a lot. There's like concentrations of wealth. And then there's that middle class. And then there's the other parts. So I always said when I moved to Ghana, I found that my sweet, sweet racism had been exchanged for classism. What were some of the things that stuck out to you? Like, how did you recognize there was a difference in class? Because like, it's one thing to say like, I know people are poor and I know some people have money, but I always said like Black Americans, not in particular, like America doesn't have class. We don't necessarily, the majority of us don't operate in that mindset. Because I don't think most of us are not in a position to do it. But I could be wrong. There's Jack and Jill there are these things within the Black community, but like, how many of us have participated? If you looked at the grander scale, like how many people know about Jack and Jill, let alone have been to any one of their soirees?
Yeah. True. That's true. Yeah. I mean, it was.
Yes, the original. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
I think, just walking out, and there are places like that in the US, but being downtown in Accra and seeing homeless, on the street with babies, you don't see that as much here. They usually have camps, that they're in, that it's kind of like in the woods and out of the way, whereas in Accra, they were on the sidewalks, you're passing by them. So that was a tad different. And then.
But did that was that one of the things that signified a difference in class? Or was like, I mean, there's poverty, but like, I guess I'm really interested to see, like, what did you say? What made you say like, oh, there's a difference in class?
So
realization of class even.
So even like the Galleria Mall, that reminded me of like here, I don't know if you've heard of Tyson's, but that's what that mall reminded me of, even though the stores weren't open, but how it's set up, it's the upper echelon mall. And then like right outside the gate of it, you know, you have these smaller houses. So that to me, it was just like, okay, it's almost like they're trying to build these newer things, like the condos that I saw that were newer, you know, houses, all these billboards for houses and stuff like that. And it's almost like the same in America where, okay, let's build all these things and kind of push the people out, you know, so.
Whatever happens, happens. If he dies, he dies.
Right.
Gentrification time. Yeah.
Right. So, you know, that it was just interesting to see that they were still like on the streets. Now, but then, you know, we went to this condo building where we had a rooftop dinner, and you have Mercedes and BMWs and Rolls sitting outside, and that's the people who live there, you know. So it's like, okay.
This is real close.
Right.
That dynamic reminds me of like the White House in DC. So like you see this awesome, immaculate, because what made it different to me was like the lawn. So if you're in this like inner city where there's not a lot of grass, and then you just see this sprawling lawn, and then there's a gate, and then you see the homeless people, the whatever, the this and the that, the ran down buildings, the boarded up windows, and it's just like, But so like, I could see those connections, those different things where there's like immense wealth right next to squalor, right? But for me, the indicator of class was like, when I first moved there, I found myself being like embarrassed for people, because like there's a certain person, if he walks into the room, and he obviously has more money and more whatever than certain people, then the people who obviously know they're not on the same level kind of start like, there's this bowing, there's this submission that I would see, and it would just like, it would just be kind of obvious when you see the submission, and then for me, I was like embarrassed for them, because like for Black Americans, we're hella rebellious, and we're prone to violence. I think it's messed up to say that, because I sound like Hillary Clinton back in the day when she was trying to raise funds. But like, I do realize that violence for Black Americans is, we're high strung. So I'm trying to think of, I don't know how to say it. Like in British American culture, from what I'm seeing, which is where that class system descends down from. To actually engage in fisticuffs, you would actually be embarrassing yourself. Like the way that they like to fight people or destroy somebody was, you would walk into a situation and nobody would talk to you. That would be like, you know, internally they would be like, oh, you said hello and nobody said nothing. Oh, like that would be the effect of like, you see somebody get slapped and we start screaming World Star. Like it's these verbal or nonverbal aggressions, the body language. You walk into somewhere and everybody kind of turns away from you. The fact that already from the British culture, one simply does not just walk up to somebody you don't know and have any type of conversation. You need to recognize where you are, who you are and if you have the comeuppance to speak to this person. Like that's coming straight from British culture. So like that's what I was seeing here, where people were coming up to me, were like, "Excuse me, sir," and they were like bending down a little bit. I'm like, "Bro, straighten up. Don't be like this, bro. You around me. We you gotta be hard if you're around me. We ain't bending down and sir to nobody. They should be saying sir to," and that was like the spirit I came with. Like, you need to respect me. That's in us. If you go to South Africa, you'll see a lot of that because of that apartheid system and that slavery system we had in the US. We are actively seeking respect. But when you get into certain countries where they didn't have that same type of dynamic, or the colonialism or the oppression wasn't as deep, you start seeing people where they just kind of fall into these class roles. It made me so uncomfortable. Now it's just like, now I've been around people who are rich enough where you just need to realize, like, once you get to a certain level of money, you can walk around acting like you need to respect me and look at me and I can look at you anyhow I want to do. Like, you can be that Black American if you want to, but just understand you're dealing with people who can be like, and you're done. You're finished. And then, like, I don't care what police you call, what judge you call the president gonna call him and be like, "You did that? Yeah, okay, cool." That's the type of stuff you deal with here, where it's like, yeah, respect, know your place, know your role, and shut your hole.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, there were, I would say, like, our rooftop dinner, that was a bit that bouginess that you talked about.
Wait, hold on. Let me sip my bucket of gin and tonic with my pinky out.
that was a bit of, you know, you have 17 people, we're celebrating a birthday, having dinner, drinks, and they're like, "Don't step 2 spots over here because you in they space. Don't take no pictures." And we're like, wow, you know. So
you think you're a celebrity.
I mean, you know, it was like, don't take pictures, don't move over this way, you know. And it was like, wow, this is kind of not to be exclusive, you know. The place was supposedly exclusive. It didn't feel warm.
Oh, yeah. I wouldn't expect warmness. Because keep in mind, like, I'm just going to be real. Like, we don't have a good reputation. So if you start hearing a bunch of American accents, especially Black American accents, because we're the bottom of the of the American system, right? And then we're here. They're at the top of their own local system, and they can travel inside and outside of America as they feel. Again, we're talking about people who order pizza from London and have it flown to Nigeria.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a whole
like,
level. Okay.
Yeah. So it's just like, that's why I just had to, like, start being like, son.
Okay.
When necessary. Yeah. When necessary. But then, yeah, so there's that.
Okay.
So there was what you thought before you came. When you arrived, or after you had spent some time there, how did that compare to what you thought it was going to be like? Because I know there was no surprises because you're well traveled, but did it fall in? Did it still align with what you thought?
I'm not going to say what I thought, but what I hoped, you know, because as a Black American traveling to Africa, you would hope you would be welcomed with open arms.
Were you?
I was,
okay.
You know, so it wasn't a expectation or anything, but, you know, like deep down, you're like, oh, please let them be nice, you know. Please.
I think we want to be, you're saying let them be nice, but I think I wanted to be accepted. I wanted to feel like I had a home or something outside of the American context where they obviously don't want me. Like,
right. And I mean,
who
coming,
loves me? Yeah.
because not all, there have been some islands I've been to and they don't like Black Americans. The women don't, so I wasn't sure what to expect, but as soon as I landed, stepped out, like my ride wasn't there, but two men immediately stepped in and helped us out. So like it was almost,
it helped out from I care about you and you look lost, or was it they got money and I want some of it?
no, they looked lost. So one guy came up, he was like, "Do you need a taxi?" And I said, "No, my hotel's supposed to have." Right, yeah. I mean, he did say that, but but the comparison, you know how many places I've been, the comparison is like, I don't want to mention other countries, but I've had it where
truth. Give us the truth. We want it unadulterated. No, I said no.
So,
filter,
like in
no
Mexico,
yes.
they don't care that you have other transportation coming for you. They're still beating at you, trying to get you to get in their cab. And in Accra, he asked me, "Do you need a taxi?" I said, "No." I said, "I'm looking for my driver from the hotel." He asked me which hotel. I told him. He looked around and then he found another guy. He asked him, "Hey, have you seen such and such?" And he was like, "No, but let me call them." He calls and he says, "Stand right here. He'll be here in 10 minutes." And the guy came in 10 minutes.
Did you tip him?
He left before.
That was a guardian angel. That man goes to church twice on Sunday. I mean, I get you. I get like I've had all different types of experiences. So I don't want to say act like you're gonna leave the airport in Ghana and get attacked. But if you look at pure economics, just like they're there to get money. If I was a taxi driver, I'm not respecting the other taxi driver. Take my car. Like I would be the one harassing you. I know that about myself. So I get it. So even when I say it, yeah, I've been like, there's hella harassment that I've experienced at that airport, also at the one in Lagos. But again, like what I find is just like the resting level or the general level of people is more humane, more helpful, more welcoming than we rest at in America.
Yeah.
Like
yeah. There was even a girl on the street that was selling waist trainers at everything, and they sell everything on the street there.
Was this one Oxford Street or a different one? Oxford is like that strip in Osu.
No, this was off of, I want to say Lincoln.
Okay.
Yeah. So she's asking us about the waist trainers, and we're like, "No, we're good, but we're looking for food. What do you recommend?" And she recommended a place, really sweet girl, not stuck up or anything like that. So that was a good experience too. I would say my only bad experience was when I went to the market.
You asked for it.
Yeah. Didn't realize like I was asking for it, but yeah, it was three of us, and like the guys, they were so forceful in one store, like they had pushed us into a corner basically, and trying to show us stuff. Huh?
Yeah, it can feel like that.
Yeah, trying to show us stuff, and we realized, we're like, dang, we're in a corner now, this is not okay. So we had to just stop everything. We're like, nope, we don't want anything. We gotta go. So that was the only time that I felt unsafeness while I was there.
It's like the market. How do I explain the market? So if you are indigenous to the place, the market is probably where you're going to go to shop, where you're going to go pick up things, and you're probably going to get the best deal.
Mm-hmm.
So all of the house helps, all of the, if you have somebody where, if you're a restaurant owner, your kitchen staff, like any one of those different things, like, or if you on the come up, like that's where you do your shopping. So now you walk in there and they built entire restaurants and entire modes of entertainment and grocery stores and things like that for you. Where you went was not for you. So not to say that you can't go there, actually go there, have fun, but like just the whole environment is not necessarily for you. So it's like what that is the equivalent of is like if you walk into the club with the cowboy hat, the whole thing, Spurs on or whatever, and you start square dancing in the middle of the club and they playing 2 Chainz. And they're like, you different. So like, you just imagine when you walk in there, like the way you talk, the way you walk, the way you dress, like all of these things are different. And it's different in a way that speaks to you have money and you don't know what you're doing. So they all, and it's just like, I think you just have to realize, or like this is for everybody watching, you have to realize that the margins are so small, but what you can do with that money goes so far that you can make somebody's day or somebody's week with one purchase and not even know it. I remember when I first, because I went to did you go to Marwako? I think it's Marwako Market.
No, we went to the art center.
Okay, I know where you're at. Okay, so that was even lightweight. If you want to go to market, yeah, that one, because like here in Lagos, I go to Balogun Market. Before they used to like harass me and chase me down there. Now when I walk in there, they really don't bother me so much, unless they forget about me, because they already know like I'm not here for you. I'm not about that life. I know where the stores are. I know where I'm going. I know who I want to talk to. I can drop names when I walk in there. Look, hello, such. Nah, I'm going to see such and such. And if the person you know you're going to see is somebody they know, it's like, oh, okay, fine. Like there are those type of things. Like it's almost like a members only club, right? Yeah, you represent well. So it's very interesting, very interesting. So what else kind of stuck out? Tell us some of the highlights and some of the lowlights from the trip.
Highlights was the name ceremony.
Maybe give a little bit of background, because you brought in, because it wasn't just you came with like your company and the whole movement brought in like how many, like 20 people or something?
So this one, actually, it wasn't my company. I was assisting one of my colleagues. Her company is Surreal Journeys Travel. So I was assisting her with this particular trip. So yes, there were 17 of us in total. Yeah. Okay. So I think, talking to everyone, our highlight of the trip was our name ceremony, getting the new names.
You got a new name?
I did. Abana.
What's your name?
Abana.
Is that Wednesday?
Tuesday.
Okay. I'm Kweku.
Okay. That's
Wednesday. I only know Wednesday name.
That's Wednesday.
Everybody's Wednesday. What's your name? Kwame? Wednesday? No? Okay. What's your name? Ade? Wednesday? No? Okay. I'll learn. I'm sorry. I'll learn.
But that ceremony was really nice. The one thing that did surprise me was like we went to where they make kente cloth and it was only men working. And, we of course asked like, why are there only men working? And, they explain if women get pregnant, they can't get into the machine that they make the kente cloth with. So that's why women don't. You gotta
be descriptive. You gotta be very descriptive. You gotta tell these things, because I remember the kente cloth thing, and that was very interesting to me. So like kind of explain what the kente cloth, the loom looks like.
It almost looks like a go-kart.
Yes, Yes. That's why I want you to explain it. Yes. Speed racer over there making pants.
It looks like a go-kart.
Yes.
And they're just and their feet,
Yeah.
you know, and I'm like, wow, they're sitting here making, cloth. So
yeah,
it was crazy.
So to add a little bit on that one, because that's actually perfect. Because I was thinking Formula One racer, the way they sit back, but it's almost perfect. So imagine this thing is like maybe 20 feet long. So you have something all the way down that the string connects to. And then you have like maybe 20 feet back, you have somebody kind of sitting in some type of contraption. And with his feet, his legs, his hands, they're weaving and doing all these different things, and they're moving quite rapidly. It was really interesting. I know I sat there and looked at this guy long enough to make him uncomfortable when I was there. So it was just very interesting. Yeah. And for us as Black Americans, I don't know, am I being sexist? Were you surprised that it was actually men doing it?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I was surprised. I was the one that asked the question of why is it only men? And then they explain, about women getting pregnant and things like that. And I was like, oh, okay. Went on about my day. But
yeah, I would when I was there, I was like, they point up at the sun, like it's hot as nobody wants to do this, but there's some money in it.
First of all, yes, it is hot.
There was outside, like just dirt, grass, whatever, go-kart, doing the Harlem Shake with some strings. I was like, this is only for savage. Now, when I say savages, I don't mean this like in this derogatory term. I mean like hard gangster. Like I have to say that because somebody would read it and be like, this guy is not right.
Because some of them, they did say they
like
worked
Rihanna
12 hours a day. Yeah. So it was crazy. It was crazy, but it was different to see. I wish I will say, and I talked about this on my post trip. I did a Zoom to just answer anybody's questions and stuff. And what I wasn't ready for the drives, from Accra to get to the different locations that we were going to. So like our shortest ride was 2 hours. Our longest was 7.
Wait, where were you going though?
So
if you say like Cape Coast took 7 hours, I'm like, okay, that's 3 hours extra, but it could happen.
Well, so when we went to Elmina.
Okay.
We went to, I think when we went to the name ceremony, that was about 4 hours. We went to the falls, and that was, it was about 3 hours or hour. Yeah.
That would make sense because like some of the numbers you were saying, it's almost like Lagos traffic. So in Lagos traffic, from where I am to the airport, if I were to leave in the middle of the night where nobody is out, it would take me 45, 55 minutes. It's taking me 7 hours because we do tour of tech. So we brought in people from GitHub. I don't know if anybody's passionate about open source programming, but we brought the GitHub team over here. And we planned for this 45-minute trip with traffic to take 3, maybe 4 hours. It took an additional 7 hours just because of traffic was just like, nah, fam.
That's why it took us so long. It was traffic going through these little different towns, and that's exactly why.
Oh yeah. I'm not surprised. I thought you mean like going somewhere in a crowd like 2 hours. I was like, Lagos Part 2. What happened?
Oh no.
I don't remember. Okay. Because that can happen here. Yeah, that can definitely happen.
Oh gosh. Yeah, that was the worst part. I was.
How are the Okay, so you don't have to give us names, but I know some people in that crew were shooting their shot, and some of them was getting shot at. Right? Is that fair to say?
It's fair.
Okay. How was it different? Like, did you see the difference in the way that maybe Ghanaian men were approaching women? Were there different responses you seen if one of the ladies or somebody from the trip tried to flirt with somebody, or the men tried to flirt with somebody or something like that? And I say that with the understanding of when I first moved to Ghana, I had zero game outside of my assumption of wealth, and I was not
okay.
Zero game.
So I will say, it was mostly women. We had, I think, 4 males with us. But some of the women, would try to shoot their shot, and the men were.
They don't know about vacation. They don't know about that 3-state line rule.
So they just kind of like, laugh, ha ha ha, kind of go away, and
like, yeah, no. Yeah, I would say that. I would say that whole, whatever you think about patriarchy in the U.S., it's a bit heavier in the African continent. It's not cute for women to shoot their shot, so to speak. So you would have to be around people who are quite exposed. But even those exposed people, if they were born and raised more so, or heavily connected to their Ghanaian culture, or any type, most African cultures I bumped into, South Africa's a bit different. South Africa's a bit different.
Okay.
So for the guys watching, if you want to get shot, if you want to get drive-bys, go to South Africa, Joburg. But yeah, that would be more acceptable. But yeah, in Ghana, they're very reserved. There's heavy religious overtones where these women are waiting on God to bless them with a man, and they will sit there and wait until God does that.
Okay.
There's that type of feeling where typically just the fact that you're making eye contact too long, just the fact that if you see, I know you went out with a group of women, but in Ghana, like, if you as a woman go out by yourself, they're gonna assume that you're a shawo or a prostitute.
Oh wow.
You're not supposed to be out looking like you're hunting. You're supposed to be miraculously blessed somehow. You walk into your car, he pop out from the gutter and be like, take my number. I don't know how it works. I had no game. If you like me, I knew things. I was like, I'm not locally attractive. What you want? I know I'm failing. I know you don't like what I'm saying to you. This ain't cute. It ain't smooth. It ain't slick. Why do you like me? That's a whole nother one. I eventually picked up on game, but yeah, it's different.
Okay.
So dating was different. So nobody had a successful interaction?
No.
I'm not surprised. Now, I would say if y'all came to Ghana, of the 17 women, there's a previous episode. If you'll find out about Yoruba demons. But yeah, there would have been probably, out of the 17, probably 19 of y'all would have gone back thinking you had a husband that was coming to drop the ring. Like, the game here is immaculate. Like, Nigerian men, for a very specific reason, are very welcome wherever they go. They know how they're known for wanting to take care of their women, spoiling them. The things they say out of their mouth are so sweet. You'll just listen. It's like, if you're lying, keep lying. That's the reputation they have here. Yeah. So, yeah. So we're going far. Maybe we'll have to do a part 2 one day or something. I'm gonna try to harass you with the Broad Wild Black. But with that being said, I want you to give me like some final words, some last words, like some lessons, some takeaways, something that like, is there something that makes you feel like you're a better person, you're more connected, you're more aware of yourself, or something like, was there an epiphany, a discovery? What happened? Like, what did you leave with? when you left?
So, between seeing the slave quarters, standing where ancestors have been, where they walked them out to these waiting boats. Most of us were in tears in that moment. Because you hear about it, you see like slave quarters in the US and things like that, but it's totally different walking in that space in Africa, where they actually took them from. So that was a very emotional moment for us. And then, in that moment, it was, if I thought I was great before, I need to walk even more in greatness because of my ancestors. So that's what I took away from that. And then at the name ceremony, the name that they gave me, it meant counselor. So tears, I'm in tears because, I am a life coach. That is what I am starting to do. And it just, to me, it felt like my ancestors have verified my path.
Okay.
So those were my two huge takeaways.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. I had to go to the castles twice. The first time I was there, maybe the first 10 minutes I was there, a second group came, and it was 2 or 3 Dutch people. And we were looking at something, and one of the Dutch guys said that, this is really cool. And I was like, cool? Like, are you entertained? Is that what you're saying? Like, are you entertained, my friend? Are you enjoying yourself? Like, it just, and then we were just on the same tour guide. So I'm just looking at this person like, I hate you. So like I had to go again. I had to cleanse. I had to burn sage. That was the most restraint I've ever exhibited in my life, just from that one state. He didn't do anything wrong. Great guy. Like we talked later on, and I couldn't really just put that on him. Like, don't you ever go to a slave castle as a white person and say that's cool. Like,
cool.
Never, like, never do that. Like, but yeah, I survived. I survived that interaction. So, is there anything else you want to, like, do you think everybody, like Black Americans, should come to Ghana?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. We are planning Surreal Journeys Travel and Signature Class Travel. We are planning a trip for 2022. So if you want to go on our websites or Facebook, we are going to start putting together the information. I think, by us going first, we're always the cavalry, and then we come back and everybody's like, oh, I want to go. So, for her and I, it's like we have to go to places like 2-3 times because we told people to come with us the first time, but, they're waiting. So
that's Black people. Black people are going to be like, did they come back? They alive? They got all their fingers? They good? Okay, yeah, I'll go. Yeah.
Yes,
that's how investment works in Africa. Invest my money. How are they doing? Oh, they're doing amazingly well. They've had a business for 27 years. They're $1 billion. I would like to invest now. It's like, oh, they don't want your money now. Like,
yes. Yep.
So
2022.
My response to this 2022, I would say 2021 is a year of being deliberate. People who are interested in going to Ghana, I would say be deliberate. It's one thing to say do your research, but I'll take it a step further and say, like, understand fully and wholeheartedly what your why is, and basically kind of erase everything out from that and just look at it from the perspective of your why. And why I say that is because there's a lot of good things and bad things that can happen. And what I've seen happen is that people will come and have a bad experience in the beginning. And the bad experience is not necessarily bad. It's usually sourced in you just don't understand the culture and how things are done. And then with your lack of understanding, again, Black Americans, you are more aggressive than most people. If you want to play, let's I'm coming out here, I am who or whatever, go to South Africa. Try it. Somebody gonna slap you in the head with a brick, and then you're gonna realize.
I'm trying to coach everybody. This is why I have my business. I'm coaching to.
Who saw that joint, man?
Namaste.
Man. Or somebody gonna be out there talking about you gonna sing the song like I told you. But anyway, I would say for that reason, I would say that the people that you see, they're just judging on how you describe the trip. I didn't hear about certain horror stories, certain things that I've seen when you have people, a group of ignorance just building on top of each other. So I would say for you, I automatically know from that you have built a community. And that your community was selective to a certain extent for all of you to be able to go there and not come like this is the worst thing that could ever happen, because 17 people who are not aligned and of a similar mindset can go to heaven and say like, I didn't like the way they polished the gates. You see what I'm saying? Like,
absolutely.
So like, right. So with that being said, I would say be very selective and deliberate, because what they have going on, there's an alignment, there's the, I don't want to take it too far and say it's spiritual or whatever the case may be, but you don't want people to come in and rock that boat, because I love what you're doing. And for you, again, for you to bring in that many people who have never been before and be able to respond and tell me some of the stories and the different things you learn, you have a very particular group of people. I can't wait to be with them and interact with them more, and I'm definitely sure we will.
Yes.
So, awesome. So with that one, I like to talk. I don't know how long it's been. But with that one being said, please, how do we find you? How do we contact you? Any final words or whatever, but how do we interact and engage and reach out to you? Because I think more people, if they're gonna travel to Ghana, I think they need to link up to your group.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I know.
So on Facebook, you just have to look up Signature Class Travel. And then as part of my retreats and mindfulness, you just have to look up on Facebook A Passport to Breathe, Discovering Mental Wellness. And if you look those both up, you'll have all of my information.
Awesome. So we'll make sure that we're recording this now, but we'll have that in the link. There's a mystery elbow in here. This is my girlfriend, fiance, who doesn't want to come and say hi. Hi. I grew up with this, trying to come and say hey.
It's nice to meet you, beautiful. Nice to meet you too.
I don't understand. She's a gangster, right? Like by every sense of the word, but she gets to new people and becomes so shy. Who are you? Who are you? Anyway, so I'll say this. If you enjoyed the content, wait. What are one of the dances from Ghana? Do you remember any of the dances from Ghana? Did they teach you any? No? Okay, we're gonna have to stick with, I can't remember the ones that I know, but I'll say this. If you enjoyed the content, please do the shaku on that like button, subscribe, follow us. See, you gotta learn these dances. You gotta learn. For more alerts, again, follow us. We're gonna be doing more shows with Deshauna. She's gonna give us more tips and tricks about the life coaching and different things like that. And we're also gonna start interviewing. I wanna talk to a few more people in your squad just to make sure. I wanna be thorough. I wanna get a real good outline. Because again, it's very difficult to get Black Americans one Black American to come to the African continent and have a clear mind and a balanced spirit to actually be able to enjoy it, see the differences, and not take things so personally. So again, you're looking for me, please check out the website, www.burroughsenterprises.com. Again, it's in the link. Social media platforms and whatnot, Serious Black, Abroad While Black, Burroughs Enterprises. We are all over the place. Check us out. So between now and then, I hope you all stay blessed. And thank you again, Deshaun.